Well, 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 look what we've got back on the bench. Now don't worry, she's not poorly, she's here for a bit of a makeover. The Giraffe design used these NE 5532s and 34s to convert the balanced to unbalanced for use in the operation of the bus compressor. Quite a bog standard part. And I was able to buy the EXPAT Cavendish mod PCB. So this will enable us to swap a couple of those op amps for some API style op amps, and for the output stage we swap out those for another set of API style op amps, which will drive a pair of API style transformers. It's not going to be easy though. For some reason I mounted these PCBs onto this sheet of aluminium and mounted that to the case, but because of the height of the transformers, I'm going to have to take that out, and also there's not enough room for the PCB, but I can just move these two along. I don't really want to move this any closer to the mains transformer than I have to. So these are all tested as well. I tested them after I built them, so they're all okay. The only other thing which is a bit of a problem is the holes on here. They're quite big, but I was planning on using these socket pins, which are a bit too big for these holes, so I'm going to have to drill out the holes and solder the pins on both sides, as there's traces on both sides. And then I can experiment with putting in some other discrete op amps. So I'm going to have to drill out these holes, remove this aluminium piece and shift all them along, re-screw them down, build this board, and then hopefully do some sort of A to B comparison. I don't know how easy that's going to be, probably not. And currently we're drawing 6.4 watts and at 240 volts that's 33 milliamps. That went well. I didn't really have to struggle too hard. I'm still going to replace these, I think, with shielded Van Dam cable. This one will be replaced coming back from the Cavendish mod. I think I'm going to take this switch out, just try and get this mains a bit further away. I never use the switch, it's on the back of the rack anyway. So what this mod does, on the input stage, this is the balanced input coming in, and it gets unbalanced with this chip to go into the VCA. So we're going to remove that chip, and these wires coming in and out, and also the power cables, will be connected from there to this board. Another thing we have to have a quick look at is the output op amp. In the original, this does the current conversion from the output of the VCA, and they use two op amps to do a balanced output. And on the Cavendish design, we're going to take these signals to the board, because obviously the transformer is going to do the balancing for us. The only thing is, there's quite a few versions apparently of the GSSL board, and in the schematic they've actually made a mistake and didn't label these correctly, so there's a whole bit of confusion. EXPAT changed it on this board to match the GSSL PCB, but it's quite possible that you might have a later GSSL where they corrected this, so just have to bear that in mind. And we can easily see what's going on. This is the VCA, pin 1 is here, pin 8 is the output, and that goes to the 3.2 here, so pin 6 is connected to the output. On the schematic on the GSSL, the output's connected to pin 2. So pin 6 will be coming to here, 4, 5, 6, and that should be connected to the negative input there. So my GSSL matches what this is expecting. I don't need to worry about any pin swaps. I'm going to solder the wires from above when I add them on here. I'm going to use some ribbon cable, and I'm going to see if I can use these connector blocks. You put the ribbon cable in there, press it down, and that should just fit into the IC socket. Okay, looking good. These things are pretty good actually. They seem quite firm inside the dip socket, so I didn't have to take this board out to do this mod, which is good. I did break 2 of these for using too much force, so this one and this one have actually hard soldered to the board there. The earth I ended up taking back to its starting point there. And as a last sanity check, we'll just check the power rails. So this clip is on the plus 15, which is that we have no shorts. No shorts anywhere. And the negative 15 is there. Okay, let's turn her on. Before I try and connect it to any other equipment, we're going to monitor the output. I've got a scope on the input at the moment that's showing a -6 dB sine wave coming from Pro Tools, and we're going to scope the left and right outputs and see what happens. Okay, that looks really good. And if we engage the compressor, it's a really slow update on this Rigol software. Okay, so now we just have to match the left and right. Looking good. I'm going to switch over to the RME DigiCheck. And now we can see what the sound card is seeing. And that was supposed to be a -6. But that's shown as -9. So we're 3 dB down from what it should be. And that's just down to the gain staging of these op amps. I'm not too bothered about that. That's why we have a gain knob. But whilst we're in DigiCheck, we've got a really good phase scope here, so we can just fine tune. Yep, you can spend all day doing that. I'm going to film this scope. It's better than that stupid Rigol software. I'm sending a 0 dB signal from Pro Tools into the GSSL, and I'm going to turn the gain up. You can see it's 11.6 volts on the input, and this is now the output. There you can see we've hit the ceiling. Okay, don't get confused, I'm recording this before I've done the modification. I'm going to run the whole mix through this except the bass guitar. Having a nice mix program material will give us a good idea of what's going on. Yeah, I forgot I wanted to check how much current it was drawing with the Cavendish mod. So I've just pulled it out the rack again so that I can connect it to the power meter. And we're drawing 9.7 watts, 1.8. At 240 volts, that's 49 milliamps, which is actually slightly higher than with the original IC op amp style. Yeah, 50 milliamps. So yeah, it does draw a bit more current using this Cavendish mod. I don't know how much time I'll get in the future, but I do have a couple of other op amps. This JFET 992. These came from a friend of mine, as well as this op amp, which I haven't quite identified yet. This is one of the ones that I built from Cappy. This was from a project he was doing many years ago. I think it's an API style mic preamp. There might be another video in this if I can identify this and see if I can get this one working as well. Anyway, hope you like that. I'll catch you next time.
A beautiful, beautiful dream, yeah. And when we're in that space where vibes flow, we feel the space, the time, and then we go.
Everybody just a wise up, up. When we vibe, we are vibed up, up. On the phone, we are link up, up.
Cause the vibe is sweet.
And then you go on the boat to the place where you know your heart will grow.
Everybody just a wise up, up. When we vibe, we are vibed up, up. On the